Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has unveiled a new lineup of cabinet ministers and political office holders. Most of the changes take effect from next Monday. He has described the changes as balanced, blending a new generation of leaders with an experienced core team. 6 office holders have been promoted, including Jeffrey Siow, David Neo, and Sim Ann. There are also 3 new office holders. The previous cabinet reshuffle took place in May last year. K. Shanmugam will be made senior minister. He keeps his role as coordinating minister for national security as well as home affairs minister. The Prime Minister says he sees Mr. Shanmugam playing the role as mentor and guide for younger leaders. Jeffrey Siow has been promoted to full Minister for Transport. He will also be Second Minister for Finance. David Neo will become full Minister for Culture, Community and Youth. At the same time, he'll be Second Minister for Education. Sim Ann moving up as well. She'll become Second Minister for Foreign Affairs and Home Affairs. Jasmine Lau has been promoted to Acting Manpower Minister and Senior Minister of State for Digital Development and Information. Labour Chief Ng Chee Meng will become Minister in the Prime Minister's office. He returns to Cabinet, having served in it before his GRC team lost in the 2020 general election. Zaki Mohammed was earlier appointed Acting Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs and will remain Senior Minister for State for Defence. Goh Pei Ming will move up the ranks as Senior Minister of State for Home Affairs, as well as for Social and Family Development. Several backbenchers will also become office holders. Fu Che-xiang is now Minister of State for Trade and Industry and Manpower, while Sean Low takes on new roles as Minister of State for Education and for Health.
This balance matters because Singapore needs both experienced leaders to steer through immediate challenges and a new generation ready to take us forward. Leadership renewal is therefore a continuous process. We identify people with the ability, the commitment and the character to serve. We give them opportunities to develop and grow, to prove themselves, and to entrust them with greater responsibilities as they are ready. And that is how we build a strong team for Singapore, not just for today, but for the years ahead.
Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says the latest cabinet changes are part of a regular ongoing process of leadership renewal. But earlier plans also had to be adjusted following 2 unexpected resignations. Sherlyn Seah reports.
The lineup on stage tells the story. Newer office holders in bigger roles in Singapore's latest cabinet reshuffle, even as experienced ministers remain at the core. Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says the timing is not out of the ordinary.
We typically will review appointments every year. It's not unusual because there will be promotions, there will be changes, there will be backbenchers whom we see fit to bring into the front bench. So these things are done regularly. I started this process, in fact, earlier in the year.
The changes also mark another step in the development of the 5G leadership team, which PM Wong says is progressing well. But he adds there is no fixed timeline for succession.
Everyone learns and grows at their own pace. Some faster, some takes a bit more time. So there is really no fixed timetable. I will have to assess each one's readiness and then in due course make the necessary appointments. But as you can see from the appointments we have made this round, even within the year, it's just 1 year since the last GE, we are making progress and I'm confident we will continue to make good progress.
This is PM Wong's 3rd cabinet reshuffle since taking office, and this theme of continuous leadership renewal is also one that he's consistently emphasized since day one.
Every year we make adjustments, so our approach is not one of once every few years you announce a grand scheme, a grand arrangement, and then you make changes another few years later. Our approach is one of continuous renewal, continuous adjustments. We are assuming that uncertainty is the norm. And to navigate a world of constant flux and uncertainty, you need a good balance of experienced leadership as well as fresh perspectives. And so we retain a core of experienced leaders. And even down the road, if some of them were to relinquish their portfolios, we can still tap on them in different ways.
PM Wong acknowledged that he had to make changes to earlier plans after 2 ministerial resignations from Dr. Koh Poh Kun and Associate Professor Faisal Ibrahim.
This year we had 2 resignations, one out of family and one second more recently because of conduct. But there could be other things that have happened in the past. Health issues have occurred before. So despite your best plans, you have to account for these unexpected changes, and that's what I have done. And based on the earlier plans I had, and also taking into account the resignations, I made the appointments that I did. The fact that these unexpected changes do happen means also we have to continue building a strong pipeline.
And that's not just for the ministers, PM Wong adds, but also younger office holders and backbenchers. And when ready, he will place them where they can contribute most effectively to Singapore.
And joining us now for an in-depth look is Associate Professor Eugene Tan from the School of Law at SMU. Prof. Tan, PM Wong says that this reshuffle reflects a balance. Looking at the appointments now, what do they reveal about how he's developing Singapore's next generation of leaders, you think?
Paul, I think when PM Wong talks about, a balanced reshuffle, he's referring to both, the consolidation, of the existing leadership, but also political renewal. And I think when you look at the changes today, right, or as he prefers to use the word adjustments, it's very much about ensuring that there's a broader base of junior political office holders, right? Because when you have a bigger base, right, then there is that healthier pipeline, right? You will ensure, that there will be that ready supply, of leaders, but also leaders who are ready to take on bigger assignments.
Now, the Prime Minister says that there is no fixed timetable for the emergence of the 5G leadership team. Even so, does this reshuffle give us a clearer sense of who's progressing through that pipeline?
Not at all, Paul. I think it's still very early days, particularly when we are referring to the 5th generation leadership. I mean, certainly from today's cabinet reshuffle, we can perhaps say that, there are a couple of front runners, right? So the 2 acting ministers, Jeffrey Siow and David Neo, being confirmed as full ministers. And of course, the promotion of Jasmine Lau, to Senior Minister of State, but also as acting Minister for Manpower. I think we could say that, and they all come from the class of 2025. I mean, they were first elected in 2025. I would say that, this would put them, as front runners, but leadership renewal and succession is a fairly long-term process. We're looking at something between 2 to 3 parliamentary terms, anything between 10 to 15 years. And so we are just in the first year, for these 3 leaders.
Now, let's now take a look at the new political office holders who are taking on bigger roles. Now, they've also outlined their priorities, drawing on lessons from their time in public service. They say their priorities will be shaped by closer engagement, clearer communication, and stronger trust with Singaporeans. Sherlyn Seah has the report.
Stepping up after over a year in political office, several office holders have been entrusted with larger responsibilities.
Mr. Jeffrey Siow and Mr. David Neo were long-serving public servants before entering politics in the 2025 general election. Over the past 14 months, they have served as acting ministers before this latest promotion to full ministers. Reflecting on the last year or so, they said they have both learned many lessons.
For Mr. Siow, now Transport Minister, moving from policymaker to politician has meant discovering that sound plans are not enough. He says leadership is also about building trust to genuine engagement.
There's a lot of the emotional connection that you need to make. And that's something that has surprised me, but also in some ways really delighted me because it's something that I enjoy. Meeting people, hearing from them, understanding what is it that matters to them, and then how best we can work to support them and serve them. So that's been the biggest transition, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the years ahead.
For Mr. Neo, who continues to oversee the wide-ranging culture, community and youth portfolio, the focus has been listening to the diverse communities he serves, from artists and athletes to youth, heritage practitioners and religious groups. He says those conversations help shape better policies.
It's important to spend enough time to understand each segment, what is important to them, how they're experiencing and feeling our policies, what's working, what's not working, what are their dreams, what's their aspirations, what role can the ministry play to work together with everybody, right, to help achieve our common goals. And that in itself, I think it's the main challenge.
Also taking on a bigger role is Jasmine Lau, who becomes acting manpower minister. She says her previous stint at the ministry, together with more recent work in education and digital development, has given her a broader understanding of workforce challenges, from AI to the concerns of young Singaporeans entering the job market.
That gives me quite a good overall understanding of what needs to be done going forward. From what I know of MOM work, watching colleagues in action, as well as from my prior experience, a lot of MOM work does require extensive stakeholder engagement and management. And that's a skill that we've built up over the years, whether in the public service or in our initial year as a politician. So I think those skills remain relevant regardless of which portfolios we are put into. And in the case of manpower, it's a combination of those skills as well as the knowledge around the technology and the workforce anxieties.
Meanwhile, newly promoted Senior Minister of State Goh Pei Ming says serving across both the social and security portfolios has made public service more meaningful.
It has reinforced my belief that a strong Singapore depends not only on economic success, that's important, but also on strong families, safe communities, and trust and cohesion amongst Singaporeans.
As they take on expanded portfolios, the newly promoted office holders say they will draw on those experiences as they tackle the next phase of their work.